once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of us to see it.
Why Lake Tahoe is so important to two states.
It's a huge watershed in the northwestern corner of the lake.
And see where more than a foot of snow is expected to fall today.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Hundreds were rescued from homes and cars following catastrophic flooding in southeast Texas over the weekend. A 5-year-old boy died after the car he was in was swept away in fast-moving water. Nearly 2 feet of rain has fallen over the past week over parts of the Houston area. Some believe it's the worst flooding since Hurricane Harvey in 2017. Amy Kiley has more.
A storm system that brought floods, left a 5-year-old boy dead, and displaced thousands in Texas is moving east. Now most Texans are getting much-needed relief.
In this area, it's second only to Hurricane Harvey.
In the county that includes Houston, officials say hundreds of people and pets needed rescuing over the weekend.
You can have a seat up here.
People just think they can make it through the water.
Many area residents remember Hurricane Harvey in 2017 and know what severe weather can do.
It's very scary. I'm threatened every time this water comes up.
Now they're seeing flooded homes all over again.
They're losing a ton of stuff. I mean, some of these people they're really hurt.
It's not just coastal residents who are affected. Officials say the boy who died got caught in floodwaters after getting out of a submerged vehicle near Fort Worth. In central Texas, this asphalt on a bridge is in pieces due to floods, and police say the storm turned the city of Clifton into a kind of island.
We've certainly experienced it with hurricanes, but it doesn't take a hurricane.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
While Texas gets a break today, 29 million are under a threat of severe storms today, especially in Oklahoma. Most of the state is under a level 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather this afternoon and into the evening. Multiple intense long-track tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds are likely. There is a slightly lower but still enhanced risk across much of Kansas. Many are still talking about how a Texas family survived a tornado that struck their home last week. If you follow us on TikTok, you may have seen Casey Lambert talking about what happened, all while her son was sitting on her lap. The video was viewed by more than 1.5 million times. If you missed it, check this out.
Wes and I tried to cover them as much as we could. And at that point, I remember hearing glass break, and then I remember hearing bricks coming down, and they were coming down on top of us. I mean, I could feel it, and then I could feel the insulation from the attic, and that was all on top of us. And we just continued to brace and hold them as tightly as possible. Wes at one point reached up to cover my head, and he, at that point, the suction became so strong, it sucked Lane from Wes's arms.
But you only picked me up about like 25 feet.
Wow, so scary. Glad they're okay. A storm chaser saw the family running from their destroyed home and rescued them. All 4 family members were injured, but they're going to be okay. We have more stories like this on TikTok and many other social media platforms. Just search for the National Weather Desk. And while you're at it, give us a follow. Scary moments Friday night as a tornado touched down in south central Nebraska. Our station in Kearney was in its path. Chief Meteorologist Tim Reith was on air at the time, and the news team had to quickly change course.
We're being directed to go.
Okay. You guys go ahead. Everybody else, go ahead.
He
go
said
ahead.
Keep your mic on and
you go.
Let's try to do what we can.
You guys go.
Okay.
Alexis, feel free. You guys, safe shelter.
Yeah.
Keep me on air. Head to the safe shelter, okay? Okay, we're sending everybody else to the safe shelter here at the station because we are included in this tornado warning. I will stay on as long as I can to keep everybody updated. All right, I will stay on and try to keep everybody posted. Again, the tornado warning for Phelps County to the north has been allowed to expire.
This demonstrates the importance of having a plan and a place, a safe place to go to ride out severe weather at home or at work. At least 78 are dead following severe storms and flooding in southern Brazil. Over 100 are still missing and more than 100,000 have been displaced. Finding drier land, not an easy task as seen here. A man carrying a little girl on his shoulders, and about a foot of rain fell across the region. The local governor says the devastation is unprecedented. The nation's midsection has seen rain and thunderstorms for several days. So what is the normal life cycle of these types of storms? Pennsylvania meteorologist Michael Susko explains thunderstorms and what the role temperature plays.
Let's start things off with some moisture at the surface. That's what you're seeing in the green here. It's a hot, humid summer day in northeast and central Pennsylvania. We're heating up that ground, which in turn heats up the air right near that surface, and that air will begin to rise. As it rises, it cools and condenses, forming a cloud, and this process continues until you see towering cumulus clouds, which is the first stage of the thunderstorm life cycle. The towering cumulus stage, also called the developing stage of the thunderstorm life cycle. We have an updraft, which is air that is going into the thunderstorm. It's helping to fuel it with that warm and humid air from the surface going into the storm to help form those clouds. Eventually, what's going to happen is those clouds are going to get so heavy that they begin to precipitate out. We see this in two ways. We see this in the form of precipitation, so it could be rain or even hail if it ends up developing in the thunderstorm. We also see this in the form of cold, dense air coming down to the surface and rushing out. This is why it gets very windy right before a thunderstorm comes over your area. But in the beginning, what happens is you have an updraft, that's the yellow arrow. You also have a downdraft at the same time, that's the blue arrow. We call this part the mature cumulus stage, and that is the strongest part of the thunderstorm life cycle. If you're going to see severe weather, this is the part where you need to watch out for. This is what meteorologists are looking for. Eventually, we get to the dissipating stage, so we get rid of the updraft completely. We have just a downdraft, so we cut off the fuel to the thunderstorm. It has no more fuel to work with, and eventually begins to dissipate because it's going to rain itself out.
Sky watchers, there's a spectacular sight coming to the night skies. Meteorologist Marshall McPeak explains.
A new star is likely to appear in the night sky in the next few months. Now, to be fair, it's not really a star. It's actually going to be an explosion. It's called a recurring nova. It's one of only a handful that we even know about in the galaxy. About 3,000 light years away, we have a binary star system called T Coronae Borealis. It's in a constellation called the Northern Crown near Hercules. And there's a white dwarf and a red giant. They're orbiting around one another. And the bigger star, the red giant, is dying. It's shedding its outer layers of gases, and that's creating this big accretion disk around the star. So all that material is in the white dwarf's path. So that smaller star absorbs a lot of that material until it gets so dense that its outer layers explode in a fiery ball of white-hot gas. That explosion happens, scientists think, about every 80 years or so. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of us to see it. And it could happen anytime between now and September. The explosion will make the smaller star as bright as Polaris, our North Star. So it'll be visible to the naked eye for at least a few days and a little bit longer if you have binoculars as it gets dimmer after the explosion. So we're going to be looking for a spectacular explosion sometime this summer or early autumn.
All right, this is not video from last winter, but this weekend in Utah, the storm is expected to bring 8 to 18 inches of snow to northern Utah by tomorrow. A winter storm warning has also been posted, and you can expect travel delays in and out of the area. And check out this water spout in Vero Beach, Florida over the weekend. Did you know there are actually two types of water spouts? One has the same characteristics as a tornado and are associated with severe thunderstorms. A fair weather water spout develops on the surface of water, and it works its way upward. If it moves on land or close to land, the National Weather Service is likely to issue a tornado warning. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we head to Michigan to find out how weather is impacting this year's hawk migration.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn. Let's get a look at the Northeast. We are looking at a mostly dry Monday for many areas. Take a look at this, though. A weak cold front is going to pass through New England, and with that, maybe a spotty shower up towards northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. The sunshine returns for the afternoon. It will be quite mild as well. Some rain down towards southern New England and over towards the mid-coast on Tuesday. The high temperatures for the day on Monday, pretty nice in the low to mid-70s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. We're going to start Monday morning with some fog in the area. As we move through the afternoon, that should taper, but we'll be talking about good chances for rain and some thunderstorms across the region moving through your Monday, and we could see this once again into Tuesday. Several waves of energy are coming through the area, bring us good chances of rain practically every day this week. Temperatures make a big recovery from the weekend, upper 70s on Monday. Tuesday will likely hit close to 80 degrees.
I'm meteorologist Vetus Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. It's going to be a hot one in Atlanta, 86 degrees, 82 in Charleston, Pensacola at 82 degrees, 90 in Tampa, 85 West Palm. Looks like we're seeing plenty of sunshine across parts of South Florida, a few showers and thunderstorms across parts of the Tennessee Valley over the Carolinas. Looks like this system will continue to push east, dropping some decent rainfall. Start to clear up into Monday night, but another weather system will start moving into parts of Tennessee and the Mississippi Valley as we get towards Tuesday.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Let's check weather across the country today. We begin in Syracuse, New York. Plan for mostly cloudy afternoon skies with warm highs, considering the time of year in the 70s. This is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Partly cloudy this morning with increasing chances for shower and thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs will range from the middle 70s to around 80 degrees. And heading to Texarkana, Arkansas. Patchy fog this morning will give way to thunderstorms this afternoon. Highs are set to climb well into the 80s. And finally, Caldwell, Idaho, where the high school mascot is the Panther. Partly cloudy skies this morning, giving way to thunderstorms and chilly afternoon highs only in the 50s. Countless cicadas are emerging in more than a dozen states in a rare double brood. North Carolina is a prime location as the noisy creatures from both broods take over many neighborhoods. Meteorologist Megan Dehaney has more.
The periodical cicada, when it emerges, it only travels up to 200 feet. And so there's going to be really localized hot spots where we see the emergence happening. So you might have an emergence in your backyard and your neighbor might not have one. So that's really cool. And if you do get the opportunity to see them, you should count yourself lucky.
The periodical cicada is often confused with other vegetation-damaging species, such as locusts. But even when found in large densities, Luke Owen says this cicada brood does not harm plants. There are also no health concerns for humans or pets.
They don't really have a defense mechanism. They don't bite, sting, or do anything like that. They are emerging in mass number to make sure they can lay as many eggs as they can and avoid predators. And ecologically, you know, there really is no damage associated with it. Again, birds, snakes, all of these different organisms are going to have a lot more food to have this year.
Cicadas from this brood are known for their reddish eyes, black bodies, orange wings, legs, and abdomen stripes. We'll likely be seeing and hearing them in parts of Buncombe County soon.
It's a really cool thing. We're very excited about it.
It's hawk migration season in northern Michigan. Thousands of hawks are traveling across the Straits of Mackinac, and researchers are counting them. Meteorologist Trevor Robideau explains more.
The data can be used over a long period of time to determine what population levels are doing. The raptors are apex predators in nature, and so if their populations are going down, then we can start to look and try and determine why the populations are going down. If their numbers are going up, everybody's happy.
This is done by a professional bird spotter who keeps an accurate count of the hawks. It can be in the thousands per day depending on the time of year.
He uses binoculars and a spotting scope to count every raptor that he can see moving through the area. He then uses a tablet to record the count by the numbers of birds seen each hour.
The Raptor Watch Group also has the help of a 3-year PhD student, Nick Alioto from MSU. He focuses on the red-tailed hawk migration patterns.
So right here we just finished outfitting a juvenile red-tailed hawk with a GPS transmitter. Hopefully this will help us continue to collect a long-term data set on this bird as it moves and migrates over the next couple of years.
Alioto hopes these GPS transmitters, which are less than 3% of the bird's weight, will help us understand more about them.
They collect all sorts of data, the fact that we're able to put them on bigger birds, and so they take a GPS point, so a lat and long point. They also collect how the bird moves, so its acceleration, how fast it's moving, so meters per second when it's flying. Primarily we're interested in the actual location data, and that just really gives us an accurate picture of where these birds are using, so where they're breeding, where is important during migration, where they stop over these areas that they need to stop and refuel before reaching their breeding grounds. And also we're finding out where they winter when they're coming back through south in the fall. We didn't really know before, and this is just giving us this unprecedented high resolution data of what these birds do year round.
Every state in the country has at least one symbolic flower. Some have more than that. Tennessee is such place. Meteorologist Teresa Carter has more about the state's 3 official flowers.
Among symbols of the state of Tennessee, the most interesting ones are its flowers. Tennessee has not 1 but 3 state flowers. Initially in 1919, the passion flower was chosen as the state flower symbol by the school children in Tennessee. As the gardening clubs gained attention, though, for its efforts in cultivating the iris, Nashville became known as the Iris City. In 1933, the iris was chosen to be the state flower by a Senate joint resolution. However, it was later termed to be as the state cultivated flower. Then there's the cone flower. This flower is specifically found at Cedar Glades in Middle Tennessee. At one point, it was thought to be extinct, but the cone flower was rediscovered in the 1960s, and thanks to conservation efforts, it has recovered. In 2012, the cone flower was added as an official state wildflower.
Teresa posted this video on her Facebook page. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to check us out on social media, where we post the latest content from our team of meteorologists across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk. We have been talking a lot about tornadoes recently, using terms like EF1 or EF4 to help you better understand what this means. We turn to meteorologist Natalie Waters.
You've likely heard of the EF scale, standing for the Enhanced Fujita Scale. Now, this scale was revised from the original Fujita scale back in 2007, and basically what it's doing is estimating the wind speed of the tornado based on the damage that has occurred and also how that structure was built. Now, here's an example of EF1 damage. This is winds between 86 to 110 miles per hour. So you can see moderate damage here. Extensive roof damage can be done. We could see some windows broken as well. And this is when it starts to get a little bit more significant with mobile homes as they can become overturned. Now, here's an example of some EF2 damage, 111 to 135 miles per hour. So you can see the walls of this home have been torn off. You can see the roofs off of well-constructed homes being torn off as well. Trees can be uprooted and mobile homes could be destroyed as well as blown away too. And this is damage from an EF3 tornado with winds between 136 to 165 miles per hour. As you can see in this image, this home has been completely destroyed. Homes with a weak foundation can actually be blown off that foundation, and you may even start to see bark being ripped off of trees. Now this is an image here of EF4 damage with winds between 166 to 200 miles per hour. Well-constructed homes here, as you can see, could be completely leveled at this wind speed, and we could see vehicles that can be tossed over pretty long distances as well. And here's an image of wind damage from an EF5 tornado. Really not much is left after an EF5 tornado moves through, as it will have winds estimated to be over 200 miles per hour. Trees will pretty much be wiped clean as well. Thankfully, we don't see these too often. The last one was in 2013, which was the Moore, Oklahoma tornado.
As we head to break, take in the views of the beautiful Seattle skyline.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Today, it's going to be mild across the plains here. A lot of 70s, 60s, and a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across a lot of the Midwest. The Great Lakes looks to stay kind of dry today, but the rain slides right back into the Great Lakes heading into the day tomorrow. And by the time that we get to your Wednesday, could see a couple of strong to severe storms, especially across the Ohio Valley, just like Tuesday. So make sure to stay weather aware this week for the potential of some stronger storms, cooler weather by the end of the week.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region, and eyes today are across Oklahoma, where we do have a moderate risk of strong to severe thunderstorms. All modes of severe weather possible, large hail, damaging winds, and a threat of long-tracked, strong tornadoes in the region as well. So attention there this afternoon and this evening. Also severe threat across North Texas. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a few isolated showers elsewhere. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West. A big cool down with temperatures 10 to 15 degrees below normal for the Pacific Northwest, including Montana and Wyoming. And this is the very area that this very cool air is also in dealing with a low pressure system, bringing in heavy mountain snow across the Sawtooth and Bitterroot Mountains, even down to Uinta Mountains in northeast Utah. Cold weather continues with plenty of showers in the afternoon. That's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Lake Tahoe straddles the states of California and Nevada. It's not only a beautiful lake, but it also functions as a major watershed for the region. Meteorologist Matt Monroe shares more about the iconic lake.
Here on the north shore of beautiful Lake Tahoe, the state line of California, Nevada goes right down the center of the lake. And this is actually the largest alpine lake in North America, 22 miles from north all the way to south. And then from west all the way east, it's about 11 or 12 miles across the lake. More importantly here, it's gorgeous, but it is a huge watershed in the northwestern corner of the lake over that hill. That's where the Truckee River starts, and it actually flows down into western Nevada and gives towns like Reno and Sparks about 85% of their drinking water. This water, by the way, is 99.9994% pure. You can drink right out of the lake.
For great weather content, be sure to check us out on social media. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. I'll be back right after this. Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you were able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Good day.